All right. Cool. So everyone, thank you so much for coming. Super excited to do this. So basically the idea behind this is we found an inauthentic network in the latest Facebook widely viewed content report. And kind of the idea is we'll just, I'll go through some of the tools that I use to uncover it, some of the methodology that I use to uncover it. And would really just love to have like an interactive deep dive. So if anyone sees anything on the screen that they think is interesting, like feel free to shout out or raise it up in the chat. Really just want to kind of like dig into this together, right? Just to help sort of educate the world, right? Like how do integrity workers think about these kind of things? Like how do we like dive into things and just really uncover as much as we possibly can. So to start, I'm just starting off with the latest widely viewed content report from Facebook. So this is the report that Facebook puts out every quarter now. They've been doing it for a year. This is actually like the fourth one that they've released publicly. And basically what they do is, widely viewed content report. They give out various lists of what are the most viewed pieces of content or what are the most viewed content creators on the platform for that quarter. Right? There's two broad buckets. So one thing they share is lists of links and domains. And so actually, like here it is. So like the widely viewed domains. And so here are the top 20 domains that were viewed on Facebook. And this is for quarter one of 2022. And then here's like the top 20 links that were viewed. And then they also go into the pages, right? And so here you can see these are the top 20 most viewed pages, and then the top 20 most viewed individual posts. And
this is by US-based people, correct?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. So this is only for US audiences, right? So what you see here, like here's like the #1 link, this YouTube channel. So this YouTube channel, like this link was shown to 47.2 million American users or users in America. Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, right? That's like, I don't know, 15% of the population, pretty big. And even like the 20th, right? Like these are all like huge numbers, like 25.2 million. So these are all going out to like tons and tons of people. Yeah, so basically so this comes out every quarter, and every quarter it's sort of, we like to dig in and ask like basic media literacy type questions about it all, right? So, the first media literacy question you can ask about a piece of content is like, who made it, right? And, sometimes you can answer that question and sometimes you can't, right? So if we click on like stateofdepression.org, can we actually look at this domain and figure out who's responsible for it and who's behind it? And so, I love to find about us pages if you can. Sometimes it is tricky. This one does not have an about us page, right? Blog, wellness, CBD, affiliates, support pets, Facebook, privacy policy. Yeah, and then, you can like click on an article, close, I think. This one's written by admin, right? So stateofdepression.org, would get an anonymous rating, right? Because, they're not saying who they are. There's no about us page. All the articles are written by admin, right? So looking pretty anonymous. So just kind of like go through that, label it all. Another thing you do is like content originality. So it's like, are they actually creating original content, or are they just taking content from other sources and like reposting it themselves? And then are they using any like networked accounts or networked assets on Facebook to distribute it, right? So do they have a network of pages that are sharing it, or do they have a network of groups or a network of user accounts? And so those are like the basic things that we check for. So the one that actually we'll be digging into today is Alltrendytees.com. So this was a super interesting one, right? So it's like, obviously like this is like pretty silly t-shirt stuff. I kind of love some of them. They're like, I don't know if you ever like visit r/targetedtees. I highly recommend that as a subreddit. It has a lot of hilarious t-shirts that are way too targeted for people, like oddly targeted. So the first thing we want to do when we see a domain like this is figure out how is it getting distribution on Facebook? Right. So, this was the most widely viewed link on Facebook, right? Or the 9th most widely viewed link on Facebook for quarter one. So how is it getting all of those views? The main tool I actually use for this is actually just the CrowdTangle browser plugin, right? So the CrowdTangle browser plugin is like super nice in that it's kind of a reverse URL search. So it'll tell you all of the public places on Facebook where it found people sharing this URL. Also does it for like Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. But basically what CrowdTangle says is it's found over 500 posts that have shared it, right? It's gone out to, it's had 2 million total interactions, et cetera, et cetera. And so it'll tell you, here's the most recent 500 or the 500, most recent shares of this URL on Facebook in public spaces, all right?
There's a lot of homogeneity here.
So clearly Laugh with the Ladies is a very big deal for this domain, right? And like you can just tell like Laugh with the Ladies is clearly like how this domain is getting traffic on Facebook, and it's doing, like good numbers, right? So 31,000 interactions on a single post, like that's a big deal kind of post. Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of where I started from. And actually like in the analysis, you can actually download CSVs from the browser plugin. So if you like go here, you can actually like download it, right? And I'll actually like download this whole list into a CSV file that is like right here. So this is super handy, right? So it just gives you a list of like, okay, Laugh with the Ladies, very big deal, and gives you 500 shares. And so here is a link to the post. And so you can see how it was shared. So Laugh with the Ladies, group with 1.1 million members, pretty big deal as far as groups go, right? And of course, visit our store, Alltrendytees. Here's a promo code, and then like some random meme, right? So first thing,
and I believe that this meme is
like
recycled. Like I believe that this person did not come up with this meme.
Yes.
Maybe because I talk to you too much, Jeff. How would I like prove it though?
Yeah, I mean, you can like, sometimes it's easy, right? And they'll just tell you who they like, they'll leave the watermark in and you can just tell. But yeah, so how do you do reverse image search to see if this was stolen? I have a couple of tools that I really love for this. My current favorite one is TinEye, which like, if it's an ancient meme, like TinEye just does such a good job of just finding every like old instance of it on the internet, right? And so here you go, r/instant karma, TinEye found it June 18th, 2019, right? So almost like 4 years ago now. And it's showing up in Laugh with the Ladies, here at like May 19th, right? So it's a 4-year-old meme. They're just, pulling stuff off of Reddit, right? We can see, oh, here's my favorite feature, legit my favorite feature of TinEye, is sorting it by oldest first. So actually the very first time TinEye ever found it was in 2015, right? So it's actually an 8-year-old meme, right? It's got, went from Google Plus to Twitter to Reddit, right? So it's like, this is like a meme that's like done the rounds, right? And actually like dates back to Google Plus.
I mean, it's also a screenshot of someone's tweet too, I think. But that's beside the point.
Facebook post? What is plus? Oh, that's
I think it's just like a really old tweet.
You could honestly probably date it from the UI of the Twitter, right? Like I haven't seen that button on Twitter in a long time. Oh, and hey, like square profile pics.
Yeah.
When did they change square profile pics? That was like 2018 or something like that.
Oh, it feels like it was just yesterday. And like, look at the deep friedness of the meme too.
I think this is a boomer friedness. This is someone taking a physical picture of their laptop. I recognize like this kind of stuff.
Nice.
Anyone who spent a lot of time reading the Facebook articles on Gizmodo recognizes these artifacts in it. Yeah.
Okay, so what have you proved so far? Like a person who's posted to this group posted a recycled meme?
Okay, so Leslie Smith, right, shared a recycled meme into this group, right, linking out to Alltrendytees. We can also see what the other top posts look like. We have Leslie Smith again with the exact same text and a new meme. Are they all going to be Leslie Smith at the top? No, we have Kay Pennington, who also would like you to visit Alltrendytees with the exact same text. All right, and I'm just guessing that these are all stolen. Like we can look it up one by one if you want, but I'm pretty sure these are all stolen. Okay, so you have, Leslie Smith and maybe Kay Pennington are spamming it. We can actually go with Laugh with the Ladies and just see what this group is all about, right? So here we have Nancy Johnson with the exact same text sharing this link and a meme. We have Floriana Martz sharing this text with a link and the meme. Again, right? So it's like, as you scroll through this group, it's like, this is kind of a weird group, right? You have like, I don't know, 5 different women sharing the exact same text with like random memes underneath it endlessly, right? So I don't know. So usually when I get here, like, then you hit a fork in the road, right? And it's like, where do you want to dig in on? Do you want to dig on the people and the actual user accounts that are sharing with the group? Or do you want to like dig in more like on the group side of things and like, what's up with this?
Are you asking us?
Sure, answer it.
I'm talking too much. What does everyone else think?
They're both good. It's okay. We'll go with, let's go with people first. Let's go with like the group and figure out what's going on with the group. So, you can just use Facebook, pull up the group admins, right? So here we have like Laughing with the Ladies. It's got a weird set of admins, right? It has a couple of pages that are actually admins of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
And what's one thing that's interesting is that the admins are not the people who are hyper posting on the group.
Yeah. That's actually a really important like call out, right? So it's like, it's not the admins that are doing the hyper posting, but then this group is like 100% those kind of posts, right? And so it's like either the admins, right? Like in this kind of situation, right? Like either the admins are like totally asleep at the wheel and just like are not paying attention to it like whatsoever, and it's been taken over by spammers. Or like there is like some sort of knowledge here, right? And like the people posting are doing it on behalf of like the admins, or they're all sort of in the same group.
Well, and also this is a little bit hard to spot because you can't see who the admins of the pages are who are running the group.
Yeah.
So because these are admins of the pages, it's like the pages could potentially be that as well.
That's actually like, yeah. And then, so like Nancy Johnson could be an admin of Cranky Old Women. Yeah.
Right. And another thing, like, I don't know, maybe it's too early to get to the reveal, but like, this is the weird thing about Facebook groups in particular, but I think it might be true of like Reddit groups too. You have this weird separation of like who formally controls it and who actually uses it. And like, I would call this like a page as group, or a page as group, or a group as page, right? Like, this is technically, like, according to Facebook code, a group, but it acts like a page. It's all just like a same few people spreading posts to their followers, and the followers don't ever post themselves. And there's a second step here, which is the people posting on this thing that is, basically a page, are not the admins. And the thing about that is it also allows the admins to like officially have their hands be clean, right? Like, the admins can never spam, but they don't need to. I think that looks like this one.
This is weird.
I think this is a real person, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think they're like the one person that actually decided to post in this group.
Who doesn't quite understand.
Doesn't understand they're part of a spamming ring.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, like it's super strange, right? That like there's like 1 million members in this group, and yet only like 5 or 6 people are like actually like posting anything. Yeah, and like hiding it through the pages is super interesting. And actually, like one thing that came up for me when I was looking at this group is that so like Cranky Old Women, right? Like all these pages are tiny, right? So we have like a clothing brand with like 500 people following it. Cranky Old Women, you know, has 4,000 people following it, and Laugh with the Ladies has 1,000. And oh yeah, in the chat, like actually, I'm super interested in this. So if anyone wants to say so we got it in the chat that the domain Alltrendytees was actually registered out of Bangladesh. And I'm super curious as to like know how did they figure that out? What's their tool to look up like where it's registered out of? Is it who is, or is it something else?
If you use something like domain tools to look up the registrant,
Yeah.
in this case, they didn't even hide the origin. So you can see that it's registered to DACA and the company
so it wasn't
and all the other
privacy.
details.
So it wasn't even privacy blocked. Interesting.
Do you want to say your thing out loud, or do you want me to say it out loud for you?
Oh, I just didn't get a good look. Did it say that this group was located in Rhode Island?
It did.
It did.
Because that's just interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the contact is listed in Bangladesh. So yeah, they're actually honest about the registry. Yeah.
The IP was out of Kansas, which is like one of the more common data center locations we see in spam campaigns.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Like, that's so funny. I didn't know that there are like particular data centers that were like favored by spammers or not.
Like there's just like a large
Wichita,
VPN
Kansas, or Cedar Rapids. Those are the two that I have heard associated.
Okay, fascinating.
Is anyone taking notes, by the way?
Zoom is taking notes.
Okay, great. That's a great note to take. Wichita and Cedar Rapids. I'll remember that. Okay, so we're hearing a lot about Bangladesh.
Yeah, but
probably
the group
find
is, of course,
specific
it's
providers
like,
there in the Cedar Rapids and Wichita areas, right? Because it's providers who are friendly to these types of business. It's the case with all the types. As soon as you get into gray areas, there are providers that like that business.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And then yeah, and so like as someone noted, right, like so according to the group, they're located out of like Rhode Island. Okay, cool. So we can dig in on like Cranky Old Woman or women. So one super interesting thing, and it's actually like almost a little bit of a loophole, is like this group has millions of people in it, right? Like millions of members. This page only has like 4,000, right? So it's like absolutely an itty bitty page. And it's actually kind of like an interesting loophole, because to have a page be the admin of a group of this size, because there actually are transparency requirements that kick in on Facebook pages. So like once a Facebook page gets so big, you know, it has to go through like a transparency process, and like the admins have to be verified and all that kind of stuff. Oh, actually, I see that this page has already gone through it, and it's located in Bangladesh.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
That answers that one pretty quickly, actually. Has zero.
And they haven't posted.
They haven't posted. Zero
Who are the
posts.
people who follow this thing with no posts?
I mean, it's
whoa.
the friends. It's the friends of the Spammy Network. So here are all the groups that Cranky Old Women is an admin of, right? So 0 posts, only 4,000 followers, but has a ton of groups that it's actually like an admin of. So you have funny.
And yeah, and if you cross-reference that with the other thing where the links are posted, I think those top 3.
Yeah.
Or sorry, am I ruining this?
Yeah, no, 100% ruin it. Yes. Okay, so Laugh with the Ladies, funnies that make you laugh, middle-aged humor, right?
Yeah.
We can go Laugh with the Ladies, funnies that make you laugh, middle-aged humor, right?
Damn.
Funnies that make you laugh, middle-aged humor, laugh of the day. Is laugh of the day, is that easily caught? Show me laugh of the day. Laugh of the day.
Bam.
Right? Yeah.
And I bet if we go to the, like, if you go back one sec.
Yep.
To like, I don't know. So Smudge, right? I don't know anything about Smudge, except I instantly distrust it, right? Can we just go there and see if it like is also posting spammy links to something else, or even to the teas?
Yeah. So I think Smudge is just like a legit group of people who like this meme template.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it also running this? It also thinks it's
Hey.
from Vermont, but I don't think it's from Vermont. Or
So
wait,
the
Sydney?
admins, yeah,
Mhm.
it's in Sydney, Vermont,
Mhm.
Bennington. I don't know. Like, I think I actually don't have a good explanation for like why Cranky Old Women is an admin of the smudge. Because like as far as I could tell, this was like a real group, right?
Oh.
It's like, you know, there's like 20 different people that are like sharing memes of like this template,
Okay.
right? And there's like 0 links out of it. So I don't know. I wonder if this page just like
Tried a bunch of shit.
tried a bunch and was just like, hey, groups, like let me be an admin. Like, why not? I
Mhm.
don't know. Or, you know, maybe there is something going on here and they just haven't turned it on, you know, they haven't like started linking out yet.
Which, as always, y'all, you can just interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, yeah, just that I was noticing that they all have very analogous volumes of posting. And
Yeah.
I actually would love to explore Good Morning Lord for that reason. It looks to be like pretty out of step with the rest of these.
Okay.
One thing that these groups do too as well, like a lot of these pages, is they will try to attach themselves to a couple of legitimate ones sometimes, where they mix it in for whatever reason. They're very active on Facebook. They like tried, maybe this was originally part of a particular network that then transitioned into something that is like different or like a different strategy from the other admins, but they're still an admin on a group or page. I mean, once you're an admin of a group or page, like someone has to actively remove you in order for that to change. And so like you can just get stuck with that, even if you don't have a strong association with it.
Gotcha. And it looks like this one was that makes a lot of sense because this has a very different character and doesn't have the same clear financial attachment.
Yeah, so there's no links in any of this, right? And then I'm seeing a
You
lot of
also
like
have to audience build somehow, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes getting some attachment and starting a certain amount of cross posting, even if it's not the moneymaker anymore, is important to your launch efforts or to
Totally.
acquiring some positive karma to get yourselves more distribution.
Yep.
There's a lot of
It
reasons to
all,
want to be attached to some legit stuff.
yep.
Karen?
Pre-monetization, yeah, like there really is like an audience building phase, and then there's like the monetization phase, right? And sometimes you do very different things in these 2 different stages.
Yep.
I feel like we're all kind of old pros at this, so we like haven't quite gone for the like Bangladesh kill shot yet because we're assuming it exists. Do you want to just like do the, you know, the follow through with a big reveal?
To go for the kill shot.
Yeah, I mean that might not be the best terminology, but you know.
Yeah. Where was I mean the best one, the best poster by far is Leslie Smith. So okay, so clearly this is like a weird page. This is clearly like a lot of like network groups. I guess we didn't look at funnies that make you laugh, but if you look at funnies that make you laugh, you see Nancy Johnson. That's a familiar name. You know, Leslie Smith shows up here.
Helen Ritz, same deal.
Yeah, so it's like all the same people. So let's see what's up with Leslie Smith. Leslie Smith has this wonderful banner image. Okay, let's go to her user profile. I am a simple boy, so I'm all alone. Went to Nalta High School, which is in Bangladesh.
Only his friends can see what he shares on his profile.
And then, yeah, we can actually look at, wait, how do I? Oh no, is it not gonna like, okay. Well, fortunately I already did the reverse search lookup before. Okay, so if you reverse image search Leslie Smith's user profile, you end up with beautiful woman laughing on a stock photo page. All right. So Leslie Smith is getting her profile image from stock photo. We can also look up, I also really liked Nancy Johnson, if we can pull up that one again. Nancy Johnson had another really good. Where's Nancy? Nancy, there we go. Okay. So again, another, yeah, like the cover photo, the banner image, right? Doesn't exactly look like a Nancy Johnson.
They're not trying.
They're not even trying. Lives in Bangladesh. And then this one's really interesting, right? Because like they made a user handle for themselves, right? Like for their profile page, right? And then they didn't bother updating their user handle, right? Like when they switched it over to Nancy Johnson. All right. So like clearly what happened here is like there was a set of guys in Bangladesh, right? Who are like, cool, like let's share all these links. Let's like get these groups and like start spamming them. And then they're like, oh hey, like this would go over much better if we were like American women in all of these groups. And so they just very quickly changed all their user profiles to like American sounding names and pulled some like fake profile pictures from out of, you know, from various places. And just started running with it, right? And like, yeah, like it's almost like they only did like the bare minimum so that they would look fine when they're in the group, but like even like the most cursory investigation like beyond the group, like it all kind of falls apart.
And why is this bad, Jeff?
Why is this bad? Well, like they're lying to the group members, right? So it'd be one thing if they're using their real names, and actually the real name network, we actually found a network that was using their real names and doing this exact same, and actually Facebook took it down, right? So this nayenews24.info, this actually showed up in the Q4 report for 2021. It was like the 15th link there. I kind of forget. Q4 2021. 15, yeah. So the 15th most popular link in Q4 of 2021 was nayenews.info, right? And behind it, right, was the exact same thing. So there was a group of there was a network of groups. You know, there was 5 people. They were posting the exact same link over and over. But as far as I could tell, they're using their real names and their real profiles. And so I was like, oh, this actually is probably fine, right? Like they're spamming, but they're being honest about it, right? Here, I mean, like Nancy Johnson, like this is just like the people blatantly lying to you, right? So like this would be the inauthentic part of like the coordinated inauthentic behavior. So you can have, you know, you have a network of groups, right, that are all sharing the exact same content, right? Like there's the coordination, right? You have the fake lying about your username, right? Like lying about your real name. There you have the inauthentic, right? And then you have the behavior. But if you're not lying about your real name, then actually the inauthenticity, if you're not using a fake user account, right? The inauthentic is kind of hard to prove or figure out what that means in the group setting.
I mean, also it's just spam.
It is also just spam.
How do we think they got 1 million people to follow this group in the first place?
That's
out of scope of this discussion.
Yeah, I haven't dug into like the lineage of the group. I don't know how you get here, like with 1 million people in this.
I have some suspicions, but I bet someone in this chat, in this call, would be better placed than me to investigate it to the extent that you can from the outside. Can you go to the About section?
Yeah.
I wonder when it was created.
Boom.
Like a year ago.
Wow.
Oh my God. How?
It would be interesting to see how they got to 1 million in a year.
Mhm.
One other thing,
Probably a lot of advertising bootstrapping.
Are we able to look at the members at all? Like
Yeah.
I don't know how
Probably.
public that information is.
Yeah, I mean, like it is a
Yeah, the
public
members
group.
are in
right?
the
So anyone
the
logged
people
into
tab.
Facebook can look it up. Yeah, I kind of like,
Okay.
yeah.
Can we just pull up a sample? I'm just wondering if the members are even legitimate accounts, like by and large.
Quite
You didn't
possibly a
scroll all
lot
the
of
way
them are not. But
I
you can
mean-
you can do large numbers of group invites, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
seed it with a variety of techniques. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ways to build audience, sadly.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
I'm just-
comments here, all of the comments, right? And it's getting like 761 comments, right? Like the comments actually all look pretty legit. to me.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I'm just.
believe. Sorry, after you.
Oh, I mean, this is going to be really difficult to track, I think, through public data, but I'm wondering like what the growth trajectory of something like this looked like from the beginning, where, yeah, if there was seeded from some authentic account or inauthentic activity from like buying followers or something like that. But like you said, I mean, mass invites and all of that. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, well, first of all, there's some stuff in the chat. I don't know if you guys want to say it out loud.
At least on my end, it seems like this is a small part of a larger fashion empire. So these group of guys got together and they created a company, Gear Launch. So then they're farming about 60 to 80 domains that I was at least easily able to find. I won't paste them in, but just, you know, it's really, this is only one part of it. So it's a layer of, you know, their kind of fake engagement that then they drive to all the t-shirt sales.
That's crazy.
How do you find those other domains?
That takes a little bit more like domain investigation to get it, but it's kind of like you start with a whois. And in this case, since they didn't hide the whois data, you're able to get the registrant org. And then essentially, just like you expand based on a lot of indicators. So if you look up this Gear Launch, it has, I think, 42 domains in one place, 12 domains in the other place. And then when you cross-reference those, you'll get a giant list here. I'll put, oh, wow. Okay. So that filled up your chat, but it gives you an example of
Yeah.
the type of stuff they're running.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's a few that look kind of juicy here that like might actually have something.
melaninaf.com.
Wait,
That just feels
what?
very like, if you look at the bottom of the chat, melaninaf.com is
Oh,
one of the
no.
domains.
Okay. Okay. Let's go.
Can you share the tool you use to find these domains? Should we show it on the screen just for like posterity? Like I have my suspicions, but I feel like, you know, it's good just to cover our bases for our, you know, future listeners. Domaintools.com. Okay.
Oh, so it's all just reverse searchable. Okay. Okay. That one's not active. Die Hard Fan Store, that could be it. Oh, I wonder, is it possible to like time sort them? I wonder if like some of these are like old and have like gone dead, or
Yeah,
should
you
they,
figure
like,
you get
cycle?
like,
They probably cycle through these as they
yeah.
get blacklisted from all the platforms for spamming, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you figure you get like, I don't know, 2 months before Google catches you or something.
Yeah.
All right, t-shirtshops.store is live, as is this.
Oh, okay. What was it? T-shirt shop.
Plural.
Shops. Okay.
.store.
Do they have any t-shirts? And they got t-shirts. Okay. This one's like, doesn't have any inventory yet. Okay. Is this one live? It is not live on Facebook. It is live on Facebook, but this looks very random and weird.
You have 3 different groups.
Why are there? Why is
same
King
name?
on?
What?
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? Like, I think we've seen them doing a lot of duplication efforts. Like there was Laughing with the Ladies 2, Laughing with the Ladies 3, right? Like this is it's a dandelion effort.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like an indication of how many different things these people try, and like that not everything catches on, right? We're just looking at like the top network, but there's just a lot of different things that these folks try, because this is like what they do all day. This is like their business, right? This is how they earn money. So there's a lot of different things. Some things work, some things don't. And you know, when we're looking at like the most viewed links on Facebook, like, you know, that's the most successful of their efforts, but not everything is that successful.
So now we're digging into the flowers that are not quite blooming or blooming yet. But yeah, okay. So clearly there's another one here with the King Von stuff, right? So
you see the Frozen 2 link to it, the Frozen 2 page.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that Benanda Boro is a real person? Wow, they don't even use good English. That is not that's not
That's
a real
Rhianna.
person. They're not trying.
So
and it's still
Wait,
working.
what was the profile updated from? There it said updated the profile. Can you
Mhm.
scroll down and see what it
Oh,
was
wait, what?
updated from? Oh, okay,
No.
you can't see.
Yeah.
This
So
person looks super legit.
so I mean, maybe this is like too much theory of integrity as opposed to practice, but like, look, like we have a system here where like with real low effort, people can, you know, barely put on like the thinnest of masks and just do things that I think a normal person would say is clearly spam. Uh, and it works for them, right? Like they're, you know, the system rewards stuff like this. You become one of the top posters, or you get one of the top links across all the United States by stealing memes from people, putting on a fake face, and just like cranking out, you know, bullshit over and over again. I mean, I don't know, like, is there like a, like, I think there's like, in terms of the so what here, right? Like I think one so what is like, why wasn't this caught in the widely viewed content report? This seems like an execution error for sure. This seems like flagrantly violating policy, but also like, is there something deeper here about like, what behavior should not have been allowed, or like, what does it say about the overall system?
Sahar, I'm not sure that this, like some of, like, I think you got your finger right on it here. And the way I would put it is the core of the problem, there's many things wrong here, including that you didn't catch this much inauthentic behavior. But I think the core problem is, how is it that the platform rewards this kind of spamminess, zero depth accounts with 7-year-old GIFs, right? And memes. Like this is not this is basically evidence for Facebook sucks. And their algorithms are too easily taken advantage of. And if you are the easily taken advantage of surface, if you're the lowest common denominator, you're getting all the crap coming at you, and policing it becomes impossible. And in general, the best approach to integrity is not to need as much integrity effort, because your system is less vulnerable to start with.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to be a little bit careful with how deep we go down this rabbit hole. But I mean, as someone who's worked pretty directly on some of these problems, I'm very disappointed seeing some of this stuff surfaced and like the top content. I mean, the one thing I'll say about this stuff, just to make it crystal clear, this is not a detection problem. It's not like Facebook hasn't known how to solve this for years. I'm frankly shocked that this type of stuff is still at the top of the newsfeed, like the top, like most viewed links. It's frankly incredible to me, because it's been several years that Facebook has been able to do this type of detection, and their data is obviously much more comprehensive than what we have available to us here. That there's, it's pretty shocking to me that this type of stuff is still visible in the top links that Facebook is publishing in their transparency reports. I'm pretty surprised.
Yeah, I mean, like, and to show you like how, like, I was also just like genuinely shocked, and I was almost like mad, because it's just like, come on, like how can it be like this? You're letting it be this easy to access like 40 million people's eyeballs. Like, that's insane. But like it actually gets pretty crazy, right? Like the nyanews.info, right, was an operation running this exact same like game, right, of like network groups. And so Facebook took them down, right? But they did not take them down in time to like get them out of the top 20 list. So like Naya News has here's one entry for Naya News. Here's another entry for Naya News. Here's another entry for Naya News. Another one. They showed up 8 times across these lists that they released in the latest quarter, which is just crazy. It's like that an operation like this can bloom to like such an insane scale before it gets taken down. I don't know. And I mean, I think the real reason of like why should we care? It's like, obviously there's just a whole lot of reasons why you should care, but like if anyone can do this and get access to 11 million eyeballs, right, or even like 40 million eyeballs or 30 million eyeballs, whatever, like if anyone can do it, then anyone can do it, right? And like, if a couple of dudes in Bangladesh can get access to 40 million eyeballs in America, then like anyone can get access to 30 million eyeballs in America, right? Which is just like sort of like goes to the problem of like, okay, they're doing it to sell t-shirts, right? Like maybe that's not the end of the world, but there's a lot of other things where it gets like way scarier.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things here, just to drive this home for folks, is this is a network run out of Bangladesh that's posting these really spammy links. And what if they decide to one day, instead of post about t-shirts to 30+ million people, they start deciding to post about some sort of misinformation, like copied in a link that's very engaging. And this is not a what if, right? This has happened many times in Facebook's history. So this is a tried and true technique, which is one of the reasons I'm so shocked that this is still there. So there are some pretty heavy, in addition to the spam that you're seeing, there's some pretty heavy political implications for how this type of thing can be used in the 2022 midterms in the US or in the 2024 elections. So yeah, that is something that does concern me.
To underscore what you said, Shug, I mean, when you say political implications, right, I think people might think like, oh, politics, parties, who wins an election? But like, how about societal implications for outside the US, right? I am certain these exact same tactics are being used to like, stir up hate and violence against, ethnic minority X in country Y, right? Like, we have a transparency report for the US, which means I have to imagine it's gotten like some amount of like people caring. Is there nearly as much people caring about, I don't know, Ethiopia, Eritrea, like literally Bangladesh, huge countries of many people, I just don't think are getting the comparatively Rolls-Royce treatment that the US is getting. And if this is the Rolls-Royce treatment, that makes me feel really bad. If this is the outcome of what the Rolls-Royce treatment looks like.
Yeah, I'm almost like scared to think of what it looks like in countries that aren't getting the attention.
One thing that this also really makes me think about is that this list is far too small, right? Like,
yes.
I think the value you've demonstrated that this provides to the public is pretty immediate, right? And I think I'm immediately thinking of how you could automate most of the steps you've just done, right? Like, I think both it would be valuable for Facebook to have more people looking at this stuff clearly, and also I think it would be hugely important for us to not just know about what are the top 20, right? But probably what are anything over 1 million active eyeballs going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like in our like sort of like transparency briefings and stuff, we're asking for like lists in the thousands rather than like 20. Yeah.
I'd love to hear more so what's from people, but also pop quiz. How could this have been prevented?
Yeah, there's
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a multitude of ways, and I'll just talk about a couple of things. One is, to the point of automation, I mean, this is something that I had thought that, we had worked on a bunch of stuff that would have automated a good amount of detection against these accounts. I'm not sure if some of that was rolled back. But some of the stuff that I'm seeing here, I mean, it's pretty obvious. And to Grady's point, yeah, a lot of it can be automated. And a lot of it has been or had been at some point in Facebook's history. And I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think another thing is just in terms of some of the distribution algorithms, like how this stuff grows so large in the first place versus like with respect to how easy it is to grow audiences and to grow viewership is another thing that if you had certain reputational requirements, not requirements, but just favorabilities for certain entities, and you favored those more just based off of their past posting history. It's pretty shocking, right, that this was started in 2021. It's just over a year old, and it's grown to this size. There's a lot of pages that are much older than this that are nowhere near as large. And but oftentimes post really great content. I mean, most of the content that's on Facebook still, I still believe is awesome, great content. And so if that type of content is promoted more in the algorithms and in people's feeds, and also in terms of what groups that they are potentially like encouraged to join or whatever, like those, that can have like a significant impact on limiting the spread of these types of groups that are fairly low quality.
Totally agree. I think you have to be able to understand the source of materials and the quality of materials and use some of those measures, or you will otherwise get the thing that in the moment catches people's attention and generates a bit of engagement will just can start randomly building a big snowball. And so what you're incented to do is throw 100 small snowballs and let one of them bloom into something that becomes a big audience. And what you really want to incentivize is content producers who actually build a business providing content of some sort of value over some period of time to some broad group of people. And that is clearly not what the underlying algorithms are doing at the moment here. And if you want to think about like, is this a solvable problem and how can it be done? Contrast this with Google search results, right? Like they have definitely leaned into measures of generated user value and sort of some level of authority or user level, source level intelligence, and it's very solvable.
And on the point of you bringing up Data Studio, someone else feel free to talk for a little bit, but I have to bring up our chart.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering if anyone is familiar with any kind of algorithms or academic work on trying to determine whether or not a post is OC, or original content. I feel like that's an interesting problem. I know when I see it, but I feel like that's not an actually operable definition.
Jeff is, oh, go ahead.
To say about this, I don't know if you want to say it publicly though, Nicole.
Did I say something?
Well, I feel like you have things to say about understanding whether or not an image is original content or not.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I feel like there's a really easy fix to that, right? Like, just like you saw with the Tin Eye website, and the same way that we have sort of contextual treatments that you put on Facebook posts, you could very easily have that same sort of matching on Facebook to give people context so that they know something is probably a low quality post. And even if it's just this oldest computer was owned by Adam and Eve. Wow, I just read this, like, actually, that's so cheesy. But even this is very like innocuous, but say this is like a slightly more problematic post, just knowing that it had been posted originally in 2015 and you're seeing it today in 2022 could be context that's like really helpful and hopefully not spread the like bad low quality content. And then my other thing I was just about to say, they're pushing this Alltrendytees link on some like dog pages, it looks like. I was just looking it up. I'll send the link. I'll send it right now. One sec.
Yeah, I mean, like, so there's a lot of organizations, today that are basically, one of their core functions, right, is to operate as like banks of media that companies can scan against, right? And so there's like image hashing techniques. That's what all the reverse image lookup, that's how they do it, right? Like you take the image, you run like an algorithm on it that like hashes it into like a short string, right? And then you like search for any images that match that string. And so like GIF-CT and like counterterrorism, right? Like they're hashing all the known terrorist content and making it available as like a bank of stuff for people to look up against. Certainly like within a platform, right? Like it should be very, very easy within a platform to say like, have we seen this exact image before, right? Like just every time an image is uploaded, take a hash of it, right? And then just like have a database that's like, here's every hash that we've seen before and like when we first saw it or something like that. Certainly like within a platform, it's trivial. And like 10i is not a huge company. So any like large platform could build out a service like 10i within itself, right?
Yeah, Jeff,
yeah.
just want to say that I want to be careful what I say about this, but I will say that I worked on exactly this problem with images and media inside Meta. I will say that it's a little harder to scale than you might think, but yes, absolutely, things can be done that are better than is what you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
I would love to have that conversation offline because I actually think there's a lot of issues with building systems like that generally, but I also would prefer not to say them on record.
Yeah, but yeah, just to this, yeah, I mean, just reinforcing that, I mean, I think there have been teams that have worked on this stuff. And yeah, I don't want to go too much into the weeds and the details, but I mean, I'll just say this, Facebook doesn't really need a third-party API to do this. They have a comprehensive enough amount of things that they can run a lot of this stuff on in the massive entity that Facebook is. So yeah, I mean, which is again, like why it's a little bit surprising. I mean, there is a and why I wonder like how much of this, and this is where I think a lot of the stuff, I wonder how much of this is blocked by the technical capability versus like a just overall willingness to invest in action from the leadership. Because the technical abilities from what I've seen, you know, this technology has existed for years. So it's just a question of like how much investment does, and sometimes you do need to have like an additional layer of manual review, for example. I mean, if you just do all of this automated, clearly you're going to have like a bunch of corner cases. Like there's, for example, like a lot of benevolent images that are reshared. Let's say I post a picture of my dog and then someone copies their picture of my dog, a friend of mine, and posts it again. You know, that doesn't mean it's like a violating image, right? That's just, you know, someone posting an image, or even it's the same thing for memes and so on. So there's like a certain pattern you do have to go a little bit deeper into to like figure out what's actually an abusive like pattern. But at the same time, this is something that a lot of very smart people at Facebook, now Meta, have invested in for years. And my sense is that the willingness to actually like go after these things is probably not an issue of like the technical capabilities as much as some of the other factors involved.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like on the policy side of things, right? Like it's actually kind of complicated, right? It's like you have to have policy that, you know, says, okay, when is an admin responsible for things that the users are posting, right? Because like these aren't admins, these are just users of the group. So you have to have a policy that's like, okay, when do the admins become culpable for what users are posting, right? Like, because that's all the group is about. And then you have to say like, okay, well, this is a network of groups, right? And so it's like, at what point does a network of groups become like a problem? And you have to have like policy for that. And so if you're going to go the route of just like finding bad stuff and deleting when you find bad stuff, right? If you're going to go like the route of like prioritizing enforcement rather than like introducing friction earlier in the process, then yeah, like you end up with a lot of like hard enforcement issues and a lot of like work to be done on the policy side and a lot of work to be done on the detection side. You know, I will say like someone mentioned like, are there algorithms and stuff that can help like introduce friction naturally, right? And of course I have to bring it up because it's my favorite algorithm in the world, PageRank, right? And so we actually been doing our own internal calculation of PageRank using the common crawl. So like the common crawl is like this web crawl, like, you know, they've scanned like, you know, they have terabytes or petabytes of data now. They've scanned, you know, billions and billions of web pages. And so from this crawl of billions and billions of web pages, of course, you can create like your own graph of the web, right? Like who is linking to who. And a lot of the times, right, people are linking to entities on Facebook, right? Or they're linking to entities on Instagram, or they're linking to Twitter accounts, right? You can think about like when you read a news article, like on, NBCnews.com, you know, they'll have a link like, hey, here's the author who wrote it, and here's a link to their Twitter account, right? You'll often see like these kind of hard links from like very well-established domains to social media accounts. And so that's actually what we've done here is we created sort of like a social media aware PageRank calculation where you have domains and you also have social media accounts like facebook.com/NBC News, right? And facebook.com/NBC News is treated on the same footing as any other domain would be. And so here you can see that there's like a pretty strong correlation, right? Between how high do they score in PageRank and what is the probability that they pass all of our media literacy checks, right? And so once you get up to the highest scores of PageRank, you know, you're looking at like 100% are, you know, transparent about who they are and producing original content, right? And when you look at the lowest buckets, you're looking at like 80 or 90%, you know, anonymous and posting unoriginal content. So it's like if distribution had more to do with how much PageRank you had rather than how engaging content, then yeah, like this would just introduce friction earlier on in the process and make it harder to grow to like 1 million people by posting unoriginal content.
Woot, woot, hell yeah.
All right, we've gone way over time. This was a ton of fun. Does anyone have any like last comments or last thoughts? I actually learned a ton myself, and so I'm super excited. That is exactly what I wanted to happen. Yeah.
This is really fun. I feel like I also learned things, and it was great just to like dive in unprompted together and like find new stuff and just see how y'all think about it. Thanks to everyone who spoke up, like it made it less of a just like the Jeff show or the Jeff and Sahar talking to each other show. Jeff, thank you for doing this. Let's do it again.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
As always, like you know, why am I talking? Someone else talk.
Props to y'all for doing the sleuthing to give us a good seed to have the discussion though, and then for setting this up and making it happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, all right. Thank you all so much for coming.
And look at this magic algorithm that just like solves problems. It's right there.
It just worked. And it's no longer under you know, patent protection. All right, I'm turning off recording. Thank you all so much.